How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to the Enclave. So today we are here with module 6, ammunition for the manually operated rifle. As always, this is quite simple, same as all the other firearms we've used. The only one that was slightly different was obviously the shotgun because of the wad system that it uses. But other than that, let's get into it. So the components of the cartridge, once again, you are absolutely going to need to understand. So this page over here, where you see the components of the cartridge and also the descriptions of the components, as always, you are not going to need to memorize the entire paragraph, for example, of the primer, but you will need to understand at least a cursory explanation of what a primer is and what it does. Same goes for powder, same goes for the bullet itself, and of course the casing. So I suppose let's read through it. The primer is a small metal cup consisting of an explosive compound. Pretty much all you need to know from that is the primer is a small explosive. That's one mark, that's easy peasy lemon squeezy. The primer is both heat sensitive and pressure sensitive. When the primer is struck by the firing pin, a small explosion occurs to ignite the powder. This explosion is referred to as a flash, as it is this flash that will ignite the powder. So you don't need to know all of that. What you need to know is that the primer is a small explosive. If you want to call it a small explosive cup, you could do that as well. You need to know that when the primer is struck by the firing pin, it causes an explosion that ignites the powder. That's what you need to know about the primer. We then move on to the powder. The powder burns, creating expanding gases. These expanding gases create a pressure buildup which will push the bullet down the barrel out towards the target. In modern day ammunition, nitrocellulose powder is used. It is a smokeless powder. Okay, so you don't need to know most of that really for your tests. What you need to know is that the powder burns, which creates expanding gases and pushes the bullet out of the barrel. That's pretty much it. The nitrocellulose powder and it being a smokeless powder, it's good to know for sure, especially why we need nitro solvent is to remove residual nitrocellulose powder. So that is something that you need to know for yourself, but overall for your test, like I say, just the fact that it burns, creates a buildup of pressure, pushes the bullet down the barrel. That is pretty much what you need to know. Casing. A brass, steel or copper cylinder closed at one end. Its function is to hold all the other components together. It is the only component that can be reused or reloaded. So, I can tell you just for your own personal information, that is not actually true. There are plenty of people who go to shooting ranges to collect the lead that is downrange to remelt and recast bullets. So you can actually reuse a bullet if you have the right equipment and if you can retrieve it. Just a fun fact there. But in most scenarios, you will only reuse a case. You most likely are not going to be remelting down and recasting bullets. So anyway, all you really need to know there is that the case, like the chassis of a car, holds all the other components and can be reused. That's all you need to know. Finally, we get to the bullet. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. The bullet is usually made of lead covered with a copper jacket. The bullet is the only component that leaves the barrel and strikes the target. Once again, that is obviously correct. And yeah, basically bullet travels down the barrel and towards the target. That's all you really need to know. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. As always, you are going to need to understand the firing sequence. So the firing pin strikes the primer, which creates a small explosion or flash, you can decide whichever you want, which ignites the powder. The powder expands and pushes the bullet out of the case down the barrel towards the target. So that is pretty easy, straightforward. And then finally we get onto identifying cartridges. As with all other cartridges, apart from obviously the shotgun, which had the caveat of having markings on the side of the case as well, we have a standard head stamp on manually operated rifle ammunition. So if you look at the bottom, you will see the head stamp. So now, here's an interesting little thing that I learned this last weekend. If you look at this case, it says PMP on it, which stands for Pretoria Manufacturing something or other. I forget, my bad. I'll potentially put it up on the screen. They manufacture a lot of ammunition for various places, be it recreational shooting, sports shooting, etc. Now here's my thing. I've shot PMP ammunition, quite a lot of it actually, and if or when the time comes to do a review on it, it's not gonna get a glowing review. The ammunition is very inconsistent from what I've seen, in 9mm anyway, because that is what I've shot of theirs. I've experienced multiple Glock malfunctions with PMP ammunition, whereas when you use PMC ammunition, I didn't experience one. I'm yet to experience a malfunction on a Glock with PMC ammunition, but with PMP, yeah. I also used a CZ75 for my my one qualifier, also using PMP ammunition. Almost every round malfunctioned. Ouch. Anyways, so that is pretty much that. We are done with module 6 for the self-loading rifle ammunition. As always, if you've got any questions or if you feel like I left anything out, please feel free to put it down below. And if you've still got time, maybe check out another video here at the end. As always, peace out.